All right, 8 names already unveiled. 5 of those 8 are defensemen. So a lot of young defensemen. Chris Letang, not young anymore, but still getting it done in Pittsburgh. There's going to be names left off this list. These are some of the key names in the National Hockey League, or at least have been, that are no longer in our top 50. Guys like Brent Burns, Drew Doughty, Shea Weber, Erik Karlsson. Those are guys that have been in our countdown in years past, not so much this year. How about a guy like Shea Theodore, based on what he did this year in Vegas, maybe his coming out party? Surprised not to see his name in the top 50?
Yeah, I am surprised. And again, it goes back to, again, for me, I think centers and defensemen drive winning in this league. I'll hold goalies aside. And that's why it's tricky to get goalies into this list because, again, it's really a hard comparison.
Right. What's your role? What's your weight?
Exactly. But for me, defensemen and centers are what drive winning in so many areas. And really a good defenseman, you just mentioned it, Rupp, when we talk about, you have great forwards, but if they can't get the puck, it doesn't really matter. And so the great defensemen in this league are the ones that are able to get the puck to those forwards and really generate offense and drive winning. So I think a couple of those guys on that list that aren't on. I would still have Drew Doughty on. I just think he's in a rebuild, and it's a bad situation there right now. Slavin could be on. Weber was really great in the return to play. So there's a lot of those guys that would be on for me.
When you look at Shea Theodore.
Yeah.
For next year, I think he'll be on this list. If he's healthy, he'll be on this list. What we saw on that return to play was incredible what he was doing, and he's very young as well. But then there's a guy in Jacob Slavin that I think if you ask any player that plays against him on a nightly basis, he is a son of a gun to play against. He's stick on puck, finish his check. Nothing will overwhelm you. Maybe that's why he doesn't get the love he deserves. But he'll get points. He'll chip in offensively. And remember that nice run that Carolina had a couple years ago, the playoffs. He was lights out, getting assists every night. And he is a guy that you need, a shutdown guy. He's a big body. So, you could argue those guys being on this list.
Yeah, and even Brent Burns, who, he does it so much offensively, but hard to play against. I'd still have a hard time leaving Burnsy off that list, too, because, again, bad situation, team's struggling.
Anytime you have a list, though, you want to add guys, but the question is, who do you take off?
It's so hard.
Right?
It's so hard. I mean, you got your favorites, too. I like Jeff Petrie. Jeff Petrie, to me, does a lot of things. People might think I'm nuts thinking he should be in consideration, but for what he does.
Nuts.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue this all day long.
Yeah.
All day long. There's some good players that are
good player, though.
Ryan Ellis on that list. We saw what Nashville is and isn't without him in that lineup. So Morgan Riley also. So, again, some of these names that we're seeing maybe outside the top 50 right now could be right back in the mix next year. You mentioned Brent Burns. What about Erik Karlsson and maybe a bounce-back performance career-wise for him? We know it was a down year out west for San Jose. If this team kind of is on the rise, do you think he can get his game going again?
Well, the good news for Erik Karlsson is simply this. He's had a lot of time to rest and recover. He had a lot of injury issues. He had some surgeries. He needed that time. And so if anybody has been helped by not playing, I think it's Erik Karlsson. He still has a lot of natural ability. If he's healthy, you could see him move back into the picture.
I'm interested to see at his age is the adaptability. Can he adapt his game and do different things now? Because we remember when he was putting up 82 points a year and being a Norris guy, he was a better skater than everybody else in the league. That league has changed.
That's correct.
They are all as good of skaters as him now. So what are you going to do to separate yourself? He's still got a lot of tools in that toolbox. So we'll see what he does.
All right, still just 30 years old. So a lot of mileage left to go for Erik Karlsson. Again, a lot of those names that we see now outside of the list could make the list next year. We'll see how it all plays out. Again, not your list, our list at the network. Lists are meant to be debated, and that's what we'll do.
Rupper's list.
No, it is. All right, blame him.